No matter how good it gets here, if God gives you a nice house, nice vehicles, healthy children who live prosperous lives, that's nothing compared to heaven. It's more enduring. This is so short. Life is but a vapor. It's a passing uh, uh, breeze. It is grass that withers and it fades away. It's like the flower that blooms, looks good for a little while, and then it goes away. You see these trees don't have leaves. Everything's green and full when the leaves are on the trees. But now winter is set in and there's no leaves. It's just branches. Still pretty, but it's not the same. You know, our hearts now are thinking about spring already. We're looking forward to the blooming of things, the green to come back to the trees. And he says, therefore do not throw away your confidence, which has a great reward. Do not give up. Do not throw this away. Do not let it go. Do not put it to the side. Do not disregard it. Do not forget about it. Don't leave it somewhere where you forget where it is. Put a high premium on what you did to for those prisoners to secure their safety or to align yourself with them and also be persecuted. He goes, for you have need of endurance. You have need to press on and to press in to the blessings. Don't stop believing. Don't stop having faith. That's what he's going to get into. So that when you have done the will of God, when your process is complete, when God says sit in the fire for a while, there's a certain number of days and hours and seconds that he has allotted, predetermined for you to sit in the fire. Just like 430 years for the people of Israel in Goshen. Just like 40 years wandering. That was completed time. God was done. Now the next generation goes in and takes the land. He says, when you've done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. For yet in a very little while, he who is coming will come, and he will not delay. But my righteous one shall live by faith. My righteous one shall live by faith. Lord, I just feel the power of those words. That if we are going to call ourselves the righteous and live in this country full of decadence, full of pride and arrogance, full of material idolatry, full of Rome and Babylon, God, we have to be different. We have to be like those people in the book of Hebrews here, these Jews and these Gentiles who were one and in unison, who are looking for an enduring promise who is yet to come. And he says, yet a little while longer, if you endure, if you continue to press on, if you continue to fight in your faith for me, if you continue to stir up your affections for me and long for my glory, then you will get something. What are they going to get? He says, if you shrink back, my soul has no pleasure in him. The Lord has no pleasure in a quitter in faith. Are you going to shrink back? Are you going to quit? Are you going to stop believing in all the promises you have over your life? This is not the choice of heaven. The Father's heart and the Father's will is that you do not give up, is that you keep pressing on. Don't, if you lose things, if you lose your house, if you lose your church, if you're all alone in your house searching for light and people to talk to, don't give up. God has a plan for you. We are not, he says, like those who shrink back to destruction, like those 40-year wanderers in the wilderness who never got to go into the beautiful land of Canaan and get all the blessings. They had already done the wilderness, but now they're going to go in where there was rain and there were houses and there was fields full of fruit and wheat and barley. They were going to inherit pre-done, pre-worked stuff. They were going to get cities in which they didn't have to build. God was just going to give them to them. But they lost that beautiful opportunity to just get that glorious inheritance from God here on earth because they shrunk back, because they missed that opportunity to go in when God said go in. He says, but you need to be like those who have faith to the preserving of your soul. Your body, your skin, your heart, it's flesh, it's physical. It needs to work. It's a machine, but it has a limited lifespan, like a battery. it only going to last for so long. But if you quit, you will lose your soul. Your soul never dies. Your soul is everlasting. And the Lord doesn't want you to lose your soul. Jesus said, do not trade the entire world for your soul. Do you understand the importance of what Jesus is saying? Don't make that exchange or that trade. That's a bad trade, Jesus says. Now we go to 11, verse 1, which says, now faith is. What is faith, Jonathan? What is faith? You ask a good question. That's a real question. It's a powerful question. It's a question that we want to answer today. But that question needs more. That question needs more qualification. That question needs to be developed. That needs to be established in another thing. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's an invisible thing to your naked, natural eye. It's the assurance of that. It's knowing that it's already there when it's not there. It's amazingly difficult because faith would not be easy. Faith would always be hard because then it would not be faith, right? And he goes on to say in the New American Standard, he says, the conviction of things not seen. It's I know this exists, that I get 21 acres with no money to pay the mortgage. I know I get Living Lattes Cafe with no money to purchase the space, put in the kitchen, and establish and market the business. Because I have faith. Faith in God. On December 5th, 2009, after a 14-month wait for God's revelation, I am holding on. I can't shrink back. If I do, I lose it all. I just become like a mediocre Christian, like all the guys who could have got the greater things. Like David was willing to fight for the throne. But many guys had opportunities to be the anointed one, but they weren't. I mean, David was willing to kill Goliath. How many people wanted to kill Goliath in Israel? His older brothers were afraid of Goliath. Saul was afraid of Goliath. None of the mighty men wanted to kill Goliath. But David was the one who had the faith. It wasn't because he was so powerful. It was because he had faith in God. God had helped him kill a lion and a bear. God had anointed his head with oil. Do you see now that faith is everything? Without faith, it is impossible to please God. He rewards those who diligently seek him. Faith is everything in this Christian life. So I'm just going to give that meditation to you today. 2 short segments with a dog interruption here. But what we're about here at Living Lattes is faith. If God plants a church that's predicated and established and founded on faith, then guess what? It can go on. Abraham is our father. He is the father of our faith. And he did it by faith. Jacob walked by faith. Isaac walked by faith. And when someone's going through a faith walk, it's a lonely walk. People don't understand you. But it's your faith that you're establishing in God. And God promises to raise those people up in the last day. Even promises to give them their heart's desire here on earth, so that they can establish things in this realm that are faith things. They're faith established. They're not man established. So this day, remember, you have a father. His name is Abraham. And if he didn't hold on, we wouldn't have a legacy that goes by his name, the seed of Abraham. What a big deal for God to use Abraham's name. But that was because he had faith. What's your legacy? Are you going to have a faith legacy? Or are you going to just have a family legacy, a business legacy, a church legacy? Are you going to be the kind of person that history will look back on and say, there was a man that had faith. There was a woman who had faith. There's a group of people that held on by faith. God bless you.